if you're a new yoga teacher or someone who's actually dabbling into building your own business or becoming an entrepreneur, whatever it is, and you're actually in trying to create wellness and well-being in other people's lives, um, this is for you, because I've been a yoga teacher and pre-postnatal mentor for exactly a year now. Not exactly, a few days short. But I've been realizing that there was a pattern going on where I kept sabotaging things and procrastinating and actually going nowhere fast. In other words, I've been in this cycle or loop on end, like never ending, where I needed to get things done, but whenever I had a chance, I procrastinated. And I actually, literally at one point, I realized my nervous system wasn't on the same point that I was. Like, it just didn't want to move in that direction. So I got into it, like really deep into it, because on one hand, I had a few conversations with like a coach, and we got into this discussion. And after that, I pretty quickly realized that I had all the information on my hand. Like, I have knowledge in psychology and knowledge in psychotherapy. I studied, and I had my own well-being rituals. Like, I do yoga, I do meditation and EFT. But the thing is, all this kind of doesn't help if you don't get to the core of it. And I think I finally understood it through a lot of shadow work and self-reflection. And once again, what I'm doing right now is kind of my pattern. Like, I rationalize my emotions. That's my first point. The second one is I have a lot of empathy for other people, very little for me. And the third thing is actually probably the biggest one, the blueprint I received in my childhood, how money and success is handled. So let's get to the first point, because if you're someone who's interested in helping others and making life better, you're most likely very attuned with your emotions and a very empathetic person. So if it comes to rationalizing your emotions, it's also a childhood pattern. Like, when you learned in your childhood that the adults aren't really taking care of your emotional needs, you came to the conclusion that you have to find an explanation for that. That's why you're very attuned to others' emotions. And for me, I also found explanations. I still remember actually always finding explanations for friends, people in my surroundings, even when I got, even a few years ago, like literally the last year, being an entrepreneur has changed these patterns. I became a lot more selfish. I became a lot more demanding of the people who were in my surroundings. But the thing is, I lived in these patterns, in this childhood way of thinking for most of my life. And I'm 38 now. So it's sad, but it's true. I learned in my childhood to explain the emotions I was feeling so I didn't have to feel them. Sit with this. Because how do we get out of this? That's something I'm actually still working on. Because the one thing I know is I now see this behavior, and now I can change it. Like, now I can stop at the point, and I literally only have to stop at the point where I feel the feeling. And instead of running away, finding excuses, that's what rationalizing is, I stay with it. Like, for example, someone with whom I was in a longer relationship, I he wasn't really interested in my emotions or in me as a person. He was interested in what I could give to him and how well I took care of his emotions. And now, going back to the point that I just mentioned, me being very empathetic and rationalizing my emotions, I rationalized everything he did. Like, I felt so bad when he treated me like an object, because that's mainly how I felt with him. And instead of sitting with that, realizing that I couldn't live like that, I rationalized it and stayed. I stayed for way too long in that relationship. So, continuing to point two, empathy. It's a good thing. It's a great thing to have empathy. And if you're using it the right way, it's a superpower. But the thing is, I had all this empathy and my personality was based on it. Because once again, in my childhood, it was essential for my survival. Like, I needed to have all this empathy to see how the people around me felt, so how I needed to adjust. And that's what I continued to do in my adulthood as well. I felt the emotions, I saw it, I knew how I needed to act uh, when I was in certain surroundings. So, and now, once again, if you realize what you're doing, if you realize that your empathy is actually hurting you, you have to step away, set boundaries. What I do is I create a bubble, especially when I'm with people I don't know or in surroundings. I create this bubble and I tell myself, I keep my emotions to myself and I don't let other emotions get through me. I never tried like really other methods, but I think it helps a lot, just realizing it and setting boundaries for yourself. And the third thing is about your blueprint in your childhood. For me, the blueprint is women hold money, women multiply money. That's what the feminine does. It can hold and multiply money. But women don't earn money. Women don't get money. They don't create it. That's a childhood core belief that I held and I didn't even know. And the thing is, I have a deep loyalty to my family. Most people have. And I didn't even realize that me being successful, me earning my money and earning good money is actually very contradictory to what my inner blueprint knows. My inner child is literally screaming and procrastinating whenever it has a chance to step out and face success. So if this goes for you, please leave a comment how you experienced this, and I hope this helps. Bye.